game earlier, let's not play another France game for this series. Like, it's not the same mod and truly the same game, but still, it's kind of a similar playstyle. Hey, we got some experience on that galleon. Good deal. Glad to pull that off. It seems somebody is selling rice because a race to dominate the rice market has begun. We are not going to win that because there's almost no rice available to us. Alright, let's see here. I've got enough food and all the other measures of health and happiness to add somebody to the colony. So, I think let's add the seductive harlot in the town hall, making some Liberty Bells. Why not? That puts us at 0 plus or minus for health. I could maybe get away with having the indentured servant do some farming. So he'll produce 3.3 food. That's only +1 overall though. But it does not damage any of the other modifiers, so I'm cool with that. Actually, I can make him into a soldier, a proper soldier. Yeah, let's pull him out as a proper soldier. A colonial militia. And now our barracks is full. We have enough people, actually. We have a native merc and a colonial militia that we could... Well, I don't think we can declare war on Hernan Cortez quite yet, can we? We can. Interesting. He does have that mounted conquistador. How do the mixed tech feel about him at the moment? That's a good question. They are annoyed. They're at -3 overall. Very cool. We might sell the mixed tech guns and then basically be like, alright, this is pretty much your land. We're not gonna mess with you too much. I think they're already annoyed to us though, aren't they? No, they're cautious, not plus or minus. And Chio Kanu wants some guns, so I think we'll be bringing them a big batch. Question is, what do we do first? Do we sell guns or do we try to set up the settler? I think we need to try to set up the settler because we're getting so many immigrants so rapidly that we need to do that first, which means that we need to get tools and horses. Well, and lumber as well, actually. So when the galleon goes back, I need to buy that stuff. Do I send the caravel back immediately to bring some more population? Well, I can't fit very much more people in here, unfortunately. So I'm not sure that that is the answer. I'm going to have the caravel go pick up the native slave down here. They're quite powerful with our overseers after all. And bringing more people from Europe is not going to help things too well. So I'll give navigation 1 and 2 to the galleon. So now it is a 7 movement galleon, which is great. Absolutely great. It's just as fast as the caravel, which is pretty impressive. And we got Force March 2 for our Seasoned Scout, which gives him +1 movement points, so now our Seasoned Scout has 4 movement. I'm sorry to say we're here to kill you, enslave you, assimilate you, or isolate you. The difference is that settlers aren't going to be sorry. Yeah, we shouldn't say that to them. But we might leave them alone, although we would get a lot of money from burning down their villages. However, we would also get a lot of converts from setting up missions. So, I'm leaning towards peace. It does kind of depend, though, on whether or not there's any Europeans over here in the west that are going to apply pressure from that direction. That might force me to go east into the mixed tech lands or south inland into the mixed tech lands. Our little treasure here, treasure fleet, is about to arrive along with this treasure right here. I can kind of go back and forth and bounce the treasures and compress them, but I should get like a solid maybe 18,000 gold, since the maximum gold per treasure is 9,000 on my run back, so that'll be a lot of money. I can buy plenty of settlers and start settling ASAP. I could even buy the land from the Carib. Go ahead and we'll bring the native slave back as rapidly as possible, making sure not to end our turn in storm or something like that. The hell was that? What is that? Oh, dang. That is a humpback whale. Cool. Yeah, our caravel got attacked by a humpback whale earlier this turn, but the caravel received no damage because a caravel has 20 strength. You would not expect a caravel to lose that fight in Civilization. And yes, I did just get almost 5,000 gold in one movement turn of one scout. You can get more than that per turn. It's pretty great. Oh, we received our first expert poultry breeder. I could be checking constantly for the immigrants, but I'll have to check like every 3 turns, I think. So we need to give him 1,771 gold. If we don't, it'll piss him off. Tax rate can increase further. Let's just give him money. That's fine, bro. This native slave will be able to produce a lot of extra food for us by working the shellfish. So or maybe the horses. 5 from horses, 4, well 6.6 with the modifier, but from the horses we can get, with the modifier, 8.8. That's a lot. So let's go with the horses temporarily. We will eventually use them properly, but we cannot do that yet. So that was a great little choice. Now we can support way more colonists, so I do feel like actually sending this caravel back with some sugar to the mainland. Should have sent him on the next turn actually, but it's not that big a deal. It's a very tiny difference in gold. Let's have a chat with the Spanish in a second here, see if they've already set up a 3rd colony or not. They have indeed. The AI expands very, very rapidly in this difficulty level. And we've already got beaten to 2 slave barks, so that quest is gone. So that means that an AI somewhere got like a bunch of money and bought 2 slave barks somehow. So yeah, I'm talking about how strong exploration is, and it is. But at the same time, ouch, we got hurt by something at some point. At the same time, the AI on high levels, they're really, really beefy. You have to keep up somehow. Hey, we found the Portuguese, I think. But he did not find us. He's got a carrot cure. Apparently it can't see us, even though it should be able to. It's got the promotions that it needs for that. He has 4 promotions on this thing. Damn, dude. So the Portuguese are to the northwest somewhere. I want to go actually... I want to have a chat with that dude. He can move 4 tiles. No, 5 tiles with his promotions. There he is. Yep, hello there. And as you can see, he is ahead of me. Bom dia. I offer you my greetings, good sir. I am Martim Afonso de Sousa, the governor of the possessions here of my lord, the pious king of Portugal. Lower your weapons. You have nothing to fear from me and my men. We have enough slaves already. Yeah, the Portuguese are very good at exploring. The Spanish are good at killing natives, but Portuguese are very good explorers. And their scouts actually have half equipment cost. They're damn good explorers because they can get a lot of explorers very rapidly. And they're actually ahead of me in terms of points, which means that they're probably the person that's been getting those founding fathers. They got Malinche, they didn't get Louis Joliet. But yeah, that means that not only do they have, so we should have similar founding father points, they must be much bigger than I am. Yeah, they've got 3 settlements already. Just like Spain, we only got 1 settlement. Being this far from the mainland is not a good thing. The Pearly Gates will not be like our primary colony, I don't think, but it will be a major colony. We'll actually build most of our stuff down here on the mainland. There's a lot of good stuff over here. We have access to a lot of ore, so ore is not going to be a problem. Plenty of lumber. We have cocoa. Rubber, if we wanted to do that. Rubber can't be manufactured into anything though. And unfortunately, it does not look like we have any extra exotic wood just sitting around. We do have some sources of hardwood though. Hardwood is necessary for ships. I'd like to buy a master carpenter if I can't get an immigrant soon. Unfortunately, we have not yet gotten any master carpenters in the list. So let's grab a fisherman, and we'll just stick to where we are as is. We got native gold. With a smile, some natives approach. They open their hands. In the midday light of the sun, the silver amulets, the gold rings, and the gemstone decorated totem mask they offer you glisten. A trapper who spent last winter with the heathens translates the words of their chief, who in exchange wants 3 iron hammers, a hemp sack with nails, a barrel of brandy, and a blunderbuss. You have to smile. Perhaps you can take the treasures of this foreign land without paying for them with the blood of your men. It's entirely reasonable if you're the French. If you're the French, you can get away with a lot of stuff. If you're not the French, you cannot get away with nearly as much. We got a failed trader out of that village. Failed traders suck. They have bad work ethics. They don't like to do much of anything very well. They can produce a few more hammers per turn, like 1 more hammer per turn, if they're working on carpentry, and they can also produce 1 more education per turn. So really the only thing a trader is good for is he's kind of a good carpenter, but they're also kind of a good student, but you should probably just train them in like an education facility, get them to do something else with their lives. Because you can't arm them as traders, you can't make them military units. They're pretty useless. They're basically just students. he's offering to sell us some prisoners. I'm not sure if I want some prisoners. I mean, 450 gold though for a prisoner, and we do have the slave drivers. You know what? Do it. How's our happiness looking? Pretty alright. Health's okay too. So this petty criminal, he should be able to produce a lot of whatever we need. I could get him to produce some exotic wood, which would be with the modifier 6.6 exotic wood, which is actually enough to fuel our furniture factory. Well, not factory, but like furniture house. Let's find that in the list. Yeah, cabinet maker's house. 10 turns to build. Let's do that next, and then we'll have the cabinet maker go from carpentry over to actually doing his proper job. We'll make a point not to chop down that particular tropical grove, because oddly enough, I cannot find any exotic wood. Oh, there's some here. There's some over here. Not a lot. Exotic wood is actually kind of hard to come by. Some over here in the far west. Yeah, exotic wood and hardwood, they're hard to come by. There's actually some good hardwood and exotic wood right down here in the south. Yeah, no big exotic trees though for some major resources. That's too bad. I'm actually having to think more carefully about where I send my treasures at the moment. I am getting fewer treasures than I'm normally used to because I often just season my scouts by going to villages, but this is some really rough terrain. So I think it makes sense that I sent my scouts to be trained over here. They're almost done training, so I'll get more treasures, but one of the issues is that Carib land is most of the center of the mainland that we're closest to. And the Carib are actually getting more pissed off of us. They're at -3 overall because of our way of life threatening theirs. Even though our borders haven't actually expanded yet, they're still getting upset. So I need to be careful about moving my treasures into their lands from now on, I think. Otherwise, we'll probably just lose the treasures entirely. I think the time is coming very soon where we're going to end up being at war with the Carib, and I did not even choose to do that. It just happened. He was coming right at me. The Tupi started off in north of you. So we can say farewell. Please believe that my wild naked dance last night wasn't what it looked like. A wasp sting. That's what it was. A wasp sting. Sure, bro. Sure. Good lord, I have so many people. I need another proper ship, because I only have the caravel that can carry people. I need to buy more ships, because I'm getting so many freaking people. I need a ship, and I need sailor supplies. I've got enough defenders that I'm not worried about getting attacked. In fact, I'd be totally fine if the Carib attacked me now. The sooner they die, the better. By the way, there are weather systems on the mainland, like really bad sandstorms, ice storms, that kind of thing, blizzards, that can hurt your units, and your units have issues with figuring out where to end their turn as well, because usually they only have one movement point, so they'll just be like, oh, I'll just move into this storm here, and then get 50% damage for nothing. I think the natives get extra pissed off on higher difficulty levels as well. Let's bring the fisherman. Oh, I could actually equip a settler here in the old world, but I don't want to do that. I'd rather save the money because I have the food. Pretty sure I should not get asked for money by the king. Nope. I've got the food. I just don't have the lumber, the horses, or the tools. I don't want to spend 670 gold worth of food on every settler if I don't have to. That is an entire immigrant. So I could take the train ore cooker. None of these are really appealing to me to take first. Looking in the immigrant pool, I don't see anything that really sticks out to me either. Because we don't have any access to grapes, which means the vintager doesn't do much. He's supposed to be a wine expert. We don't need the miner. I could take the free colonist. I already have so many poultry breeders. I've never had so many poultry breeders. I think we just go ahead and we just take the... Let's take the expert poultry breeder. Nah. Let's take the coal miner. I'm gonna get another ship, maybe even 2 ships here in a second. This alligator really wants my treasure, so I'm gonna give him the opportunity. But we'll have a major defensive bonus, so it should be okay, hopefully. We got ourselves a slave hunter. So now we have slave overseers and a slave hunter. The issue is a slave hunter is really far away from home. But having all these military units, even if they're not at home, will discourage the AI from attacking us as well. The AI doesn't really think about the location of the units overall for war declarations, I believe. But maybe they do. Maybe they do in the mod. Hey, tracking runaway slaves. You have hired a slave hunter to bring back runaway slaves. Now that you're obviously fully committed to this business and are running your plantations with slaves, there's really nothing more to say about it. May the Lord forgive you for your deeds. All I did was explore and I found this dude, alright? Hey, almost 18,000 gold. Yes. So I have 19,715 gold. I need multiple passenger ships. The largest passenger ship in the game is the West Indiaman with the cargo slot of 5, but the brig... No, the Merchantman... No? Yeah, that's the biggest one with 5. The next one would be the brig and the Merchantman with 4, and the Carrack also has 4. Carracks are a pretty damn good deal for 4 cargo slots. Caravella Redonda has 3, and then the Flute has 3. I think that we should grab a Carrack, and then maybe another Carrack. They do increase in price here. So right now a Carrack is 6,840 gold. That's more expensive than a Merchantman, so let's grab a Merchantman. Merchantman has 5 movement, Carrack has 4 movement. Merchantman's a little bit weaker, but Carrack is a little bit stronger. Let's go with a Merchantman. And then we'll put everybody onto the ship. Send these dudes immediately on their way. Send you as well. And then we need to buy... How many times are we going to settle? I got 4 people here. I've got... How many defenders total? I would say 2 proper defenders. The slave overseers only have a strength of 4, which is half the strength of the militia and the native mercenary. This means that I would need probably 2 more defenders for the next settlement. Let's bring you back. Expert poultry breeder, you're probably not going to ever do that in your life. Let's grab enough equipment for... Oh shit. Yeah, let's just grab 90 tools. We'll plan on settling twice, and then let's grab 90 horses. And then how much lumber do we need? 67, so 67 times 2 is what? It's like 134? 134, yep. Alright, so we got that. That's what we need for settling shit. Send you on your way. Get off my boat. Both of you, well, one of you at least, the free colonist is going to be a colonial militia. We cannot convert the poultry breeder though. We do not have the money. We could make him a scout though. Are we ever going to grow poultry? That is the question. Let us take a look at our lands and see if there's any poultry opportunities. You know, there is actually some poultry right here on the second settlement. So he might actually do his job. Alright, I'm back. If I sound a little bit quieter, that's because I'm trying not to wake my wife up in the other room, just so you know. So hopefully I'm still audible, but not too loud. So this scout down south here has actually gone so far that I would rather he start swinging west and exploring over here so that we can find new treasures. And those treasures can have a shorter path back home is the idea. Of course, there is a potential issue with this river in the way, but it shouldn't last too long. We should be able to go around it at some point in time. But this is a very extensive river network down here. It's pretty impressive. Let's go ahead and just pick up this poultry breeder and bring him back anyway. If I've lost a train of thought as to what I was doing exactly, it's my bad. Just because some time has passed, you know. And I was playing a couple other games of this in the meantime. This has just been like my obsession lately. This really is such a good mod. I know it can be a little overwhelming with the number of tools, goods that are present, and the mechanics that have been added in, but I do think it's really, really impressive what they've done over all these years. Anyway, we have 1,000 goods traded. The whispering in the pews falls silent. The preacher strides forward and begins the Lord's Prayer in a firm and pious voice. You pull your hands out of your waistcoat pockets and fold them in prayer. A murmur goes through the crowd. Preacher pauses. His eyes follow the looks of the citizens. They are glued to a sparkling gem encircled by a golden ring. Your hand, raised in prayer, casually shows it to the faithful. The preacher shakes his head disapprovingly. You smile back calmly, knowing you are only revealing the wealth your trading skills have brought you. Sure, alright. This treasure is like 100% probably gonna die, but I'm gonna try to get him out of the location. Holy crap, they had 0.1 health and we had 0.1 health. I need to get him to a safe location to heal. Hopefully he can meet up with this failed trader and that treasure. And these guys will be coming up from the south as well. We're gonna leave the south now. We must pull out and go west. And our first, well, I guess you could call it our first homegrown season scout is done. That is absolutely wonderful. It is time to get them rolling out so that we can make some discoveries already. I'll send this one over towards the west right here. And probably the next one that gets done will be more down in this direction over here. So because we have 2 seasoned scouts, we now get a well-traveled man. You examine the man from head to toe. His leather clothes are stained and his shoes are full of holes. Dust is on his hair and caution in his eyes. The scout has encountered many dangers and survived them all. You smile and extend your hand to him. Welcome to my service. So the race for geese and coffee berries has started, and Johann DeWitt is no longer available to join our cause. I think he gave you cheaper everything. No, that's John Smith. Where is... okay. So 25% more lumber and 25% fewer tools necessary for buildings. Pretty strong founding father, to be honest, because lumber can be in short supply sometimes. Quite short supply. The Portuguese are asking for open borders. I'll take that, sure. We'll pretend to be friends with them as much as we can. Alright, we got that tavern built, which means that we could apply the seductive harlot to working at the tavern as, I think, a certain word. And she would receive double happiness modifier, so that would be good, but I'd rather get the Liberty Bells for now, so I'll have a woman in government. Technically, that's our first person in government, right? And our expert fisherman has arrived from Europe. We're going to apply him immediately to the fishing site, bringing us 7.77 food per turn. Absolutely wonderful. So we're working on a cabinet maker's house after the tavern that will allow us to start working on furniture from exotic wood. What should I do with this coal miner that was on the ship though? Actually, I could probably put him... oh no, we're at -1 health. That is painful. So instead of the cabinet maker's house, we need to go with a medical office first, I think. Actually, no. No, let's go with the cabinet maker's house. We'll do that first. Let's pull out the native slave, I think, working as a farmer. That will lower our food, but we win in the end because the fisherman is better than the native slave. So we actually need a doctor here already, which is fine. We'll be sending out settlers here pretty soon. Let's go ahead. Well, let's see. What else? I could take goods back now with the caravel, or I could try to pick somebody up. I don't think anybody needs to be picked up at the moment, though. No. So let's go. Let's pick up some goods and bring those back to Europe. Now, exotic wood sells for 4. I think I'd rather stockpile the exotic wood for the cabinet maker. So we'll not sell that immediately, but we will head back to Europe this way. Oh wow, we got lucky and got an elder statesman emigrating as well. That is very cool. Pocahontas is gone now. The AI they really do go through the founding fathers quite rapidly. Alright, let's see here. We've got a galleon that has our settler equipment that we need taken care of. Can't actually bring the galleon into port. Shit. You know, there's no way to move goods between ships while at sea. So we can't bring the settler goods into port, which means we can't prepare the settlers. So the galleon is kind of screwed. We might need to just send the galleon back right now. Like right now. We could send it back with one of these treasures down here. That wouldn't take that long to do. Might need to just prepare a settler in Europe, unfortunately, and just soak the money. So, in consideration of that, let's go ahead, let's prepare this elder statesman as a settler. The galleon... I think the galleon's going to stay here. We're going to sail south with the galleon. And then we'll offload the goods in the colony that we're going to found. I think that's a good plan. A good plan that adapts to the situation. So what do we got here? We got a poultry breeder, we got a trainer, cooker, grape picker. None of these are very good. Like, I want access to their specialties later on in the game, but I don't want access to them now. And the grape picker I'm not sure I care about at all. Actually, there are a few grape sites. So we could actually have, yeah, there's some grape sites. Never mind. We'll keep the grape picker and the poultry breeder too. I need their specialties eventually. Now the train oil cooker is a little bit more questionable. Let's look up what it costs to build a whaling ship. Alright, so it's 90 hardwood, 90 rope, 90 sailcloth, 120 tools, and 180 hammers. So you need the whale ship, and then you also need the train oil shop. And the train oil manufactory, this costs 150 tools and 300 hammers to build. You need a storage house as well as a dry dock. Now a dry dock can train a whaling ship, but then a dry dock needs a town hall and a regular dock. So yeah, we're pretty far away from doing whaling, but we kind of might as well just like keep the guy as he is temporarily. Let's go ahead, let's just kind of drop these guys off at the pearly gates. Now this merchantman is an interesting story. I could send him back immediately, but there is a caravel on the way already. Let's go on a little exploration with the merchantman. See if we can find ourselves some good old-fashioned experience. I need to settle harder, settle a lot faster as the English. We're not going at a very rapid pace. I need to mark out more territories to settle. So I've got the first and second settled. Let's think about the settle after that. Let's see, let's turn on the show all resources. I'm not thinking that we want to settle somewhere over here to disturb a mixed tech. I'd rather not do that immediately, although there is hemp right here. Could access that hemp eventually if we settled. Well, we could settle right here. And that's 4 tiles away from the first settle. Had access to the hemp. Shellfish, 2 shellfish actually. Not a whole lot else. We could breed horses and stuff here at a reasonable pace because of the plains. However, doing that would mean that our borders would start to encroach on the mixed tick and upset them. So I'm not sure I want to do that. We do need a source of rope and sailcloth though, which means that we do need access to flax or hemp. At the moment, I'm not seeing anywhere that we would have access to either of those. So maybe we should just go ahead and do this settle right there and just pay them for the land. But that is going to be 3 plots of lands, so well over 1,000 gold. It's not that big a deal. It does bring us closer to their settlement right here, so we could train expert fishermen pretty close by. But our borders will expand eventually, and when they expand, they'll take this mixed tech land, and they'll also push hard into the settlement over here itself. So that will 100% upset them. And right now they're not cautious or like annoyed by, well, they're not like, they're sitting on the fence towards us. They don't really care about us at the moment. Of course, we haven't actually made ourselves felt on the mainland. We really only exist on the Pearly Gates Island. So let's think about going west instead. There is iron over here. We've also got access to more iron there. So 1, 2, 3. The closest I could settle coastally with a river would be right here. That would have access to the iron, eventually the lumber from this resource, iron from here, and ore from here. We could grow a little bit of food in these marshes, or we could grow like pigs and then slaughter the pigs for food and pig skins. And I've not done pigs before. Also there's rice here. Rice is necessary for provisions, which are necessary for like scouts and missionaries, pioneers, etc. So we need some kind of source of provisions, and provisions come from rice, barley, or cassava. I'm not seeing, this is a potential barley site right here, but that's too far away. I'm not seeing like barley as a thing around here really. The plains can do a little bit, so here and here, those are outside our range. It looks like it'll have to be rice, so this might be the rice settlement. If I settled there, then where would be the settle after that? Might want to settle inland right around here somewhere. So let's turn the grid on for a moment here. So we can't settle closer than this line, and we can't settle closer than this line, so the geese form a kind of corner. Actually, this settle is even closer, so it's 1 south of the geese actually, which is getting into mixed tech land. We may need to accept that us and the mixed tech are not going to get along. but I'd rather deal with the Carib first in the west, and then kind of swing to the right and deal with the mixed tech if we have to. Because our empire is going to be incredibly expansive and very populous. We have too many bonuses to like population size as well as cheapness of founding new colonies to not make use of it.